the most abundant substance in living things. The human body, for example, is composed of about 70% water, and jellyfish are 95% water. Water participates in many important biochemical mechanisms, including photosynthesis, digestion, and cellular respiration. It is also the habitat for many species of plants, animals, and microorganisms, and it participates in the cycling of all the materials used in living things. Water is distributed through the biosphere in a cycle known as the water or hydrologic cycle. In this picture, we will examine some aspects of that cycle. The picture shows the biosphere and several arrows that show the movement of water through it. We begin by looking at the atmosphere, which includes the clouds. When water vapor cools, it condenses and falls to the earth as rain, or precipitation over land. Gravity draws the water back to the earth in the form of rain, sleet, and snow. Precipitation also occurs over the ocean. We began our discussion of the water cycle by showing how water reaches the earth. We will now see how it is stored in living things before it is returned to the atmosphere. The living things on earth are represented in our diagram by trees. Water is absorbed by the roots of trees and used in photosynthesis, but it's also lost from their leaves through the process of transpiration. Water also returns to the atmosphere through evaporation from the soil and from numerous other sources. In general, the amount of precipitation received by the area helps determine what type of plants will grow there. The nature of the vegetation, in turn, determines the type of animals that inhabit a region. Water from the land enters the ocean through seepage from the ground. It percolates from the surface down to the water table. This water-saturated zone of soil and rock is called an aquifer, and water seeps from the aquifer to the ocean. Water also reaches the ocean as runoff from the surface. Runoff from the surface includes flow from rivers as well as melting snowfields and glaciers. Now that we've described how water reaches the oceans, we'll explore how it returns to the atmosphere, completing the hydrologic cycle. The major reservoirs of water on Earth are the oceans. Oceans cover about 3/4 of the Earth's surface and contain about 97% of the water. Solar radiation causes water evaporation from the oceans. Over 80% of the evaporated water in the hydrologic cycle enters the atmosphere in this way, and about 52% of this falls back into the oceans in the form of rain. The remainder remains in the atmosphere as clouds, ice crystals, and water vapor, and then precipitates over land on a global scale. The quantity of ocean water that evaporates each year is equivalent to a layer that is 120 centimeters deep and covers the entire surface of the ocean.